You're listening to M.T.V.B. Podcast. Movies, TV, video and board games. This show may contain swearing.
Hello, welcome to a brand new episode of the M.T.V.B. podcast, the podcast that talks about my four favourite subjects, that's movies,
TV shows,
video games,
and board games. I'm your host, Anthony, as well as most people know me as the Ant-Man, and welcome to this week's episode where we're going to be talking about a board game episode. We've done it with the movies, we've done it with the TV shows, we've done it with the video games, now we're going to do it with the board games, our top 5 board games we would like to turn into movies. I'm joined around the table by the guys that love to talk about board games turned into movies. First off, we've got obviously Chris from the M.T.V.B. podcast. How are you, sir?
I'm good, thanks for having me back.
Thank you for coming back for season 7. Woo woo! And of course, the man, the myth, the legend, straight out of Board Stupid podcast. How are you, Wayne?
I am very well, thank you, Ant. Thank you for having me over once again.
Guys, thank you so much.
Fantastic idea for a podcast.
It was, isn't it? I mean, it's like, when I threw it to you guys, I'm like, well, you've come on a video game episode, but Mr. Game Master, I don't know how you are with movies, so I'm quite intrigued to see how this is going to go with this. But thank you for coming on. Obviously, if you're on Board Stupid, please tell us about your podcast, where we can find you, how we can subscribe to you.
Absolutely, thank you so much. We are Board Stupid, spelled B-O-A-R-D, and we focus all about tabletop board games. And you can find us almost anywhere on the internet by looking for that word, Board Stupid. You'll find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube, increasingly having more content on there, video reviews and industry interviews, which is some of our favourite stuff. So please do go check that out if you get the chance.
Nice. And Chris, what would you like to say about M.T.V.B.?
Oh, I love it.
Official Chris.
My van rides have been boring, waiting for the new season, so I'm good to get back.
Yeah. So
we've got it going. So, top 5 board games turned into movies. How was your list, guys?
Oh, my goodness. It was
fun.
It was a fun list to try and write. Yeah, this was a really enjoyable one. And really difficult at the same time. And I was literally just saying before we got onto the show that Chris threw a spanner in the works yesterday by texting me going, oh yeah, have you only been thinking about games in your collection? I was like, yeah, kind of. And then he was mentioning other games that other people had, and I was like, god damn it. He's now completely thrown a huge spanner in there.
He's done the exact same with me. He's like, Ant, can we put the actors in there as well? And I'm like, if you want to, I guess. I mean, if you know who they are.
What I did was I wanted if he was going to go, so who are you thinking of putting in there? And I'm like, oh,
no, I would never put you on the spot like that, Chris. Come on.
I'm not prepared. But I just wanted to be prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. And this was such a fun episode to think about because almost any board game you can think of can pretty much be turned into a movie.
Absolutely.
There's so much cool stuff out there.
I was thinking, I don't know why it's not done more, because when people do books or other films, they always kick off that it's not done to the source material, or it's not like the book, whereas a game is very interpretive.
Yeah,
you can have different ways. So you could say, you can have the IP or whatever, and it's just like got a whole license to do what you want.
Yeah,
and then people know what it is. Yeah, are going to be like, oh, I'm a fan of that, so I'm going to go and watch that anyway. But you're not going to really. I don't think you're annoy them too much.
No, and the ideas in the games in terms of theme are sometimes so strong that they could absolutely be movies.
Yeah, because it could just be one of the chance wild cards.
Yeah.
Like one of those scenarios where you have to go off and do something. That could have been the movie.
Yeah.
You don't know how it's going to go.
Absolutely. Have you guys compiled your list in a certain way, or have you just gone with like Wayne said, he might have done it just straight from his collection, or is there specific reasons for your list at all? Or
I think firstly, spoilers really. They're mostly from my collection. It's my first frame of reference, but also obviously I'm going to have a bias towards my own stuff, because those are the things that I like. And what you'll see in the ones that I've chosen is it's strong themes that I really get a kick out of.
Sure.
Is what's represented in here. So I think that's the first distinction. It's not really mechanisms based. I mean, I suppose you could do that, but for me, it's more about the theme and the, I suppose, background lore that comes with a lot of board games.
Sure.
Right? There's loads of stuff that you can read about, the history of the fucking story, etc., etc. So that's what's represented through mine, mostly based on really strong themes, mostly from my collection, and I tried to be relatively varied.
Yes.
In the types of movie it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm the same. I tried not to go full massive big budget. Like, I've got a couple in there, but then I've got some that are just like, these could either be released to Netflix or like to even to a cinema release, but we're not going full summer blockbuster.
Sure, yeah.
It's 4th of July.
Yeah.
It's Michael Bay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, there are a few, and obviously some of the movies I do like, and I've tried to vary it, but theme is massive.
Yeah, it's so key. It is so key. And I think I will say, and I've absolutely excluded games where I think they're obviously based off an existing movie.
Yeah, that's fine.
I've deliberately not picked those things because, of course, they could be a movie. Right?
Of course, yeah.
They've ripped it off the other way around.
Yeah.
They've come in, which many board games do. They take from film and other culture, and then they have their own thing. So there's definitely some games that I've done that for, and some where I think they could have been too generic. Right? Yeah, it could be anything. Like, I'll give you an example right now. Although I think something like Twilight Imperium could be an incredible series of movies, there is absolutely no doubt about that. There's also tons of space opera out there, so I couldn't really think of anything super unique on top of space political drama, of which there are plenty.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I kind of did the same. I think I kind of got one maybe caveat, which it could go towards, but I'll explain it when I have my list on that one. But we'll go into it, I tried to there was one that I was going to put on, but then there's a movie out pretty much in a few weeks that pretty much kind of rules that one out because it is that movie.
Oh, I'm intrigued to hear about that then.
Yeah. So I was like, I wanted to put that one on, but I'll explain that one later. But it's a really... I'm itching to kind of...
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
We'll get through these questions quickly and then we can hear that. I'm quite intrigued to hear this.
What about you, Adam, though? How did you create your list?
We sort of talked about this, Chris, before we started the episode. I've kind of done mine. So mine are very generic. One of them is probably from what you have not done. So, but I think the reason behind it is why I've put it on there, because I had a huge board game on there which would make a fantastic film, but the thing is I wouldn't know how to explain why it should be on film. So I took it out and I put something else in there which I thought, I could probably explain this a lot more, to detail as to why this would be in the list. So that's how I've kind of done mine. Okay. So, mine are very generic, but I'm more interested to hear your guys' versions of it. Right, but next question, obviously, you guys are board gamers, and I did this via starting the hobby again, was buying board games based on movies, being a movie buff. How are you guys with board games based on movies? Do you enjoy them, or do you nitpick at them as like, well, that's not from the movie, why have they done this, or something like that?
With that one, I started to do that, and I started to do a lot for the TV show, because I kind of got Homeland.
Yes, I remember that.
What I found with those sort of games was kind of everybody has to be a fan of that movie to kind of want to get it to the table.
Yes.
Homeland is a great game, but if you don't like the show
or know of it, you don't really kind of get into it. So I haven't got it to the table that much. It's got a great like secret traitor aspect on it, and I think we just had a discussion. Like they always they're a bit below par of what they try and put into the game theme. They're selling the IP, whereas other games are like there's so much more to do.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So, they don't... When you've got an IP on a game, I kind of get a little bit nervous because quite a lot of IP games are just slapped on, right?
Yeah.
And they're not particularly good. But I think it's getting better. There are better IP games coming out. But
because I wanted The Thing, and it was while searching for The Thing that I came across Who Goes There, which was coming out, and it was kind of like, well, that's the game, that is The Thing.
Yes.
That's the game I want.
Yeah.
So I was like, I kind of tend to go that if I can find something very similar, go along that way. But
yeah, I think as Chris says, the IP can serve to put some people off. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
it
it would definitely draw me in.
Yeah.
Like you've got Indiana Jones there. That it interested me to play it. Whether it's good enough to have repeat.
Yeah, I mean,
we're not.
Again, yeah, it's the theme or what the IP is. For example, I mean, I've got a friend of mine who board game with or not. He's not into Marvel, full stop. So nothing with Marvel will get played.
Oh, there you go.
Or for Jason from Reaper Mind, for example, doesn't like Dune, so he's missing out on Dune Imperium, which is a shame. Again, fantastic game. So yeah, it does have that effect, as you guys were saying, isn't it? It's just what people's tastes are, isn't it? And
yeah, I mean, but in general, I like the idea of having games based on.
It's
movies.
an easy draw.
Yes, I mean, I love. Yeah, I absolutely love that concept, but they have to be good games.
Yes,
That's the thing that will still get me over anything else. I mean, a great theme is great. If the game isn't very good, I'm not going to enjoy it. It's not gonna
at the same time, what is it? I really like the Marvel games. What's the space, the rocket, the game where you're got all the robots and all your mystic? It's not the theme one. It's like Marvel Champions.
I don't know which one.
Oh, it's got.
Explain more for me.
You've got loads of different like gods or like superheroes.
Right,
but it's not Marvel themed.
oh, it's the one that Tom got with all the cards from UKG. Do you remember? It's like the multiverse thingy. What's it called? It's not a Marvel thing, but it's like superhero thing. I can't remember what
you had it, and we played
God.
it.
I can't remember.
But anyway, my point is, it's kind of like it's a better game than the Marvel one.
Tom, if you're listening, comment below.
I enjoy playing the Marvel one because of the theme, even though your one was better. Multiverse or something.
Yeah, something like that, isn't it?
Sentinels.
Oh, Sentinels in the Multiverse.
Is that it? Yeah, that's it.
I don't know if that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the battle sort of card.
Yeah, it's a cooperative card game.
Yeah,
where it's like,
that's a better game, but I've always preferred to play in the Marvel one over because of the theme draw.
Yeah, I see. I understand.
Yeah.
But no, in principle, it's cool.
We got there in the end.
Yeah. Jaws is very good, apparently. And
it's fun. Is there a movie that hasn't been made into a board game you would like to see as a board game at all?
Oh my goodness!
A movie that
hasn't been made into a board game that you would like to be made into a board game.
That's a great question for Chris. That's a good question for me, but I'll have a think. I'm immediately thinking about my favourite films. Like Last Samurai is one of my favourite films.
Okay, yeah.
And I think that I don't know how I could do that as a board game.
Yeah,
but it could be cool. Like I guess, like. Could be interesting. That's definitely one of my movies. The Rock is one of my favourite films of all time.
Oh, nice.
So I'm thinking that as a game, that could be pretty amazing.
That's good.
I'm already sold for
good shout.
Right, she's already bought. So there's definitely a few films I really enjoy.
Roger Rabbit, the board game or something.
Yeah.
Roger Rabbit. Yeah. But any of my favourite films, I get taken in there.
Absolutely. I mean, a good Bond. Game as a one versus all hidden movement type thing would be really cool.
That's quite a good idea.
I would really like a decent national treasure, like a puzzle hunting, like old quest, Tomb
Raider-y almost.
But
that would be interesting.
With a bit of like escape room in the game, so I've got to solve puzzles and do a board game.
Oh, nice. Okay,
like a time limit to get out or something.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. There's plenty, man. I think there's still loads out there to be explored for sure. Yeah. Got any ideas
for me?
Yeah.
Here's Collateral with Tom Cruise. Like,
would you make that into a movie?
You've literally got to be driven around to each place within time.
So one player is the driver, the second player is
one player is the hitman, and then the other people are like, I don't know.
You got speed. You got a bus, got to try controls, cooperatives.
All these games coming out that involve cars and stuff now. It's possible.
Yeah,
it can be done.
Yeah, absolutely.
The problem with me, like some of my favourite movies have already kind of made into board games, but they've got a different title. So, which we'll go into later.
Whether their work would be...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But there's loads of IPs that are in games.
Absolutely.
But some of those movies would be amazing.
And the thing is, there's quite a few that are coming out, I believe, later this year that I would like to give a go. Like the Texas Chainsaw board game is coming soon. I think there's a new Halloween board game coming out, which I'd like to give a go. So there's still quite a few to come out. Nice. With these board game movies, obviously we got the release of Dungeons & Dragons this year, didn't we?
We did.
There are other movies that have been out through the 30 odd years or so that have been out. But when it comes to the board game movies, do you think that attracts people to the hobby at all? of board games? Like if someone goes to see Dungeons and Dragons, do you think that would make them go play the game or get them into just board gaming itself, for example? Or
no,
Okay.
I don't. I think
because you know how kids watch
I think
Marvel
Stranger
films.
Things maybe did a better job than actually Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
If you know, I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons fan, but I quite want to see Dungeons and Dragons. But there is no way it's going to make me want to
I see what you're
play the game.
Well, not just play Dungeons and Dragons, but like get you into board gaming, for example, like open your eyes to a new world or something.
Might get me into board game, but definitely not
I think
Dungeons and Dragons.
Fair enough. I think potentially, if done well, right? If someone's kind of umming and ahhing and they go and see a film about Dungeons and Dragons, and it's fucking terrible, they're never going to want to play the game. Do you know what I mean? So it has to be good and be a good representation of it to make people want to do it. But I think actually what's more likely to get people into the hobby is when they start seeing board games and Dungeons and Dragons played in other pop culture, right? So indirectly they start to see it and it becomes more normalised.
Yeah.
Like in Stranger Things, there was loads of D&D and that was a huge show. And that brought a lot of eyes
That
to
looked
it.
fun. You know, they're having a good interaction sort of game.
In South Park, you're starting to see, they play a different board game every single week, right? And that's getting eyes on the hobby as well. So, as it gets more normalised through media, I think that's what gets people in. So, but maybe, in answer to your question, possibly if the movie's done well. But,
yeah, nice.
Yeah, I think it's got to be done well.
Yeah, to even give you a chance, I think. Yeah, but for most people, they'll get into the hobby the other way, I think.
Nice. And final question, guys. Obviously, we mentioned about movies being out for our ages. We had Dungeons & Dragons be an actual big blockbuster this year. Do you see a bright future for possible further board game movies at all?
I would like to. I think definitely there's too much material.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
And Hollywood's got to be running out of source material.
Yeah, absolutely. And some games, not to spoil a little bit of my potential in my list, are based on sort of existing like old IPs like that have been around forever, but you could make infinite movies out of. So, there's some good stuff out there.
There are universes and
they've barely been explored.
And continuation trilogies you can make certain films and games into.
Yeah, I mean, not just essentially games that would suit us, but you've got kids' games that could be into animated movies or something.
I think right as well.
Kids' games would be massive. I don't know why they've not. That's a really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility.
I am positive about it, mate. I think there is loads of content. So
fingers crossed.
I think it's progressing a lot quicker than it was. Before. So I think it's not as.
If the industry keeps growing, mate, it's more and more mainstream, and then
absolutely,
someone will take an IP and be like, actually, this is a great board game, it's a great theme, and it's quite original. Let's make a movie connect it.
Yeah, I mean, popular. And the intake for the Dungeons & Dragons film was really good. So again, hopefully we can get more movies out of it as well. And
precisely,
who knows? It only takes the right person in Hollywood to be a fan of playing tabletop games, and you'd be like, oh,
yeah, exactly,
nice,
precisely.
So I'm out of questions there, guys. If you want to throw anything in, then please do. If not, we'll go straight to the top fives.
Let's get to that top five.
Let's do it.
It's time for a top five.
So obviously, as normal, no clashes. If we clash, you throw in your 2 cents, whatnot. And obviously, guys, if we don't mention your board game that's turned into a movie, then you should have been on this episode or get your own fucking podcast. Number 5.
Number 5.
Right, guys, we're doing a new thing for season 7. Obviously, this is your first episode on it. So how we determine the first person to go, you roll the die 20.
Ah, nice. Okay.
Whoever gets the highest goes first. And obviously, the Hellfire symbol is number 20. So if you get that, you obviously got to be first. So
okay, you got to roll
let's go 1. 19, beat that, guys.
You fixed it. You go first. That's fine. I
12.
12.
And the 20. So it's Chris's first.
Go first. There you go.
So Chris, number 5, sir.
All right. See, my list, because I've not been, like yourself, not done film school, so I will kind of do my point, and then maybe kind of a subplot, but then I'm always up to, there's just the idea, that's not really the plot, that's just kind of how I've kind of thought of what would make a film. Mm-hmm. So, my first one is Wonderland's War.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I've kind of gone for this as a more...
So is this live action or...
Yes,
as a
live action, obviously CGI,
Just mixture of the both, yeah.
Yeah, so, but what I'm thinking is having it a bit more older, like, what was it, the Red Riding, even though they were rubbish, the gritty, darker
Okay, so you're going for a much more mature audience for it.
Okay. I'm going for the people who liked it back in the day.
Now older, yeah.
And I'm kind of going for either the Queen's gone absolutely raving mad, or she's kind of dying and she's losing her power, and there's a full, basically, coup of power for Wonderland. There's good factions. You got the Jabberwockies. You don't know which way the Cheshire Cat's going. Mad Hatter could be a mercenary. Who knows? Basically, everyone's kind of got their factions or they're teaming up. Alice has kind of been brought back.
I was literally about to ask, has she come back to Wonderland for
I'm
this?
kind of feeling like she gets drawn back somehow, and then basically she's the rightful queen. Like, she should be queen, but the power, she kind of doesn't want it. But then by the end of it, they need it. It's just going to be an all-out war, and then you'll have all of the Tea Party, but the weapons that would come out of the tea. It'd just be a fantasy craziness of colour, and it'd be really intense, I think, and I'd make it just what you like a war battle, but not have it drag out. Everybody knows what we're going in for. Sort of, we'll set the scene pretty quick, and we're just kind of go for it.
Nice, be good.
Be good. I think that's a really good one, actually.
I
still need to play this bastard of a game. It's like, let me come around and play it, for crying out loud.
Because there's a lot of area control, and
it's amazing.
Everyone's got their own little teams and their factions, and then they have their weapons. There's nothing they couldn't do in Wonderland, if you know what I mean, because it's limitless.
It is, yeah. I can already see wild special effects and stuff you can do. No, it would be insane. Yeah,
would it be all bright and colourful, or you're going to be the gritty, dark shade of it, or whatnot?
Colourful, but not Tim Burton. It's dark, but maybe the Cheshire Cat's
Will you stick to the same artwork as the board itself, or the game itself, or?
That's a good question.
Oh, I would like to,
because then fans would really be like, "Yes, that's."
I would like to keep it that way because it looks a bit dark and
it does look pretty good,
a bit gothic,
right?
Yeah.
So it would have that Tim Burton.
Yeah, it'd be your own distinctive look, wouldn't it? Yeah, or the board games anyway.
Yeah, but then I kind of don't want anything that's kind of happened in Wonderland.
Yeah, because someone's going to watch it and go, oh, it's too much like the Tim Burton one.
Yeah, I don't want it to be, because there's just death. There's going to be murders. There's going to be a bit Game of Thrones-esque.
The adult version.
The adult version, just seeing the Mad Hatter, he's nuts.
Just fucking annihilate everything.
Yeah, I see it.
Good choice, sir. Good choice.
Or Alice has to come back to sort out the mess because it's been going on for ever.
Yeah.
Or she left and time passes. It's been thousands of years and it's just pretty much Terminator style.
I saw the shit. 40k style.
Skulls everywhere.
40k style. I love it. Nice. Good choice, sir. Anything else on that at all?
No, I mean, I'm happy to bounce off some ideas. That's what I mean about, because I've not been to film. I kind of got this is what I do, but I haven't got. I need the team around.
No, it's good. When we frame stuff in, we are framing the questions like, would it be like this? Would it be like that sort of thing? So
exactly. Yeah.
Hopefully, we get some film studios listen to this episode or tag them into it.
Absolutely, mate.
Do you want to go to you or do you want to go to me? Go on, you're ready. You go.
All right.
You go.
Okay. Yeah, my number 5 is Root.
Yeah, okay.
Root is...
and how would you do this film, sir?
Now, Root, I kind of envision as a kind of incredibly bloody, violent anime.
Oh, nice, okay. Nice.
That's how I kind of see it. So, if you don't know, for the background of Root, the nefarious Marquis de Cat has seized the woodland and is intent on basically harvesting its riches. So the cats are cutting down all the forest and like industrializing it, as cats are wont to do. But in doing that, they're oppressing the local population, so it's like murdering all the local villages, killing other races, very racist cats. And so then you have the Woodland Alliance, which rises up against them in bloody rebellion in the board game. It is terrifying. You're wiping out entire
the gathering dominance around.
Yeah, exactly. Right, you're just wiping out tons of cats by exploding in what looks, for all intents and purposes, like martyrdom as like a move you can do on your board.
Yeah,
you send one of your guys to their death and they just wipe out like a bunch of cats. Anyway, that would be amazing.
So would you have them building the sawmills and everything? And
whatnot? Exactly. Yeah, all of that stuff. And then in the background, you've got the Eyrie dynasty, who are the old guard, the old rulers of the forest, and they're like very aloof birds.
Okay.
And they're like very I suppose. They've got like a supremacy complex.
Okay.
But then they also squabble amongst themselves, like birds do.
Yep.
And every now and then execute their old leader and elect a new one.
And elect a new one, yeah.
Because he couldn't keep the massive bureaucratic machine going that is the birds. They can't make decisions. So there is that. And then all the meanwhile, you've got the vagabond, who is just going from place to place, playing the factions off against each other for his own gain. So I can already see this as like a multi-part, like violent, bloody anime, where you've just got this vagabond going around causing bloody hell through his actions, just trying to, I don't know, get rich or do something, and then you've got this upper sort of war between the Eyrie dynasty, the Cat de Marquis, and the Woodland Alliance, and I think it would be amazing.
Nice. So who would you have win?
Oh, that's a great question. I think I'd even just have the vagabond fuck everybody.
Yeah, and he'd be like the lone survivor or something.
But I think he would end up choosing who, I suppose, he would decide the overall winner of like the forest control.
Oh,
and I think like his actions you'll think he's like working for the Marquis de Cat, but actually it's like a happy ending, and he was working for the Woodland Alliance overall. So that's how
it's very tricky, isn't it, with that game? Because you always have your fans of that game, and they'll be like, "Well, they should have won, or they should have won." So it's like when Freddy vs Jason, you couldn't have a winner because they're like, you've always got fans that be like, "Well, he should have done it."
Freddy,
and that's why the game is so great, right? Because it creates all these emergent storylines just through the game's amazing theme and how the mechanisms interact.
Sure.
And so every time you play, you get this like crazy story that you talk about. You know, like the birds rose up early and just like mauled a bunch of people, and then they dominated the board, and etc., etc. Or you end up talking about how the Cat de Marquis almost won, but then the sneaky vagabond like just quickly fucking snuck out a little card and won. It's a fantastic game, just on its own, and I think its own ability to generate those divergent and constant storylines when you play definitely makes for good source material.
Great movie. Yeah. I like the idea of the anime style for it as well being really good. Yeah,
great.
Because when you said root, I was like picturing like a claymation type thing there. But then when you did, I was like, actually, the anime would be pretty good.
It'd be like a bloody anime. It'd be great. Yeah, so
beats having Judi Dench and James Corden turn up.
Yes, mate. So that was my number 5. Rich.
Nice, really good choice.
Thank you.
It would also make a great sort of like TV sort of show, manga show. You could go for ages, like an epic war on that.
Yeah, you could. Like you go for 100 episodes on that shit. Yeah,
nice.
You could. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on that? So all good?
No, I'm
all
good.
Done. Fantastic pick, sir.
Thank you.
My number 5, I have gone with Zombicide.
Zombicide.
Right.
Great. Yeah,
just hear me out on this, okay? So I love and obviously Simon from Bored Stupid love George A. Romero's earlier films, Dead Trilogy, Night, Dawn and Day. I would like Zombicide to be just like that.
Okay.
As you know, each game has a different theme to it. I mean, the Western, the space, the medieval, whatnot. Each one should be like that.
Okay, I see.
If you think about it, because every one of George A. Romero's one's a different story, so you don't need to watch the one beforehand, do you?
So you think of it as a series.
Exactly,
so each one is a different movie in the series.
Absolutely,
that.
That's how I've kind of picked that, because, again, I love my zombies. I love zombie films. Each one has, like the board game itself, it's essentially the same, but every board game has a different stipulation or theme to it, and that's how the movie should be done. I thought that'd be a cracking idea. You've got different tons of survivors that you can just throw in and come up with any one particular. What else? You got the different types of abominations or the different actual types of zombies that are in every single different game. It would I think it would work so well. If that's the issue with it. I mean, everything's kind of died down with the whole zombie thing because of Walking Dead and stuff. But I think Zombicide would be a great thing to bring back to movies, not TV series, but as a movie, zombie for movies.
Yes, mate.
I think that's what we're kind of missing at the moment. And to have that, I think it could have a good chance of, a new zombie trilogy. I'd be like, fuck yeah, that'd be so good,
A reset on the new way of doing a zombie.
Yeah.
Because we've had Walking Dead and like a lot of other ones. We need a new...
It'd be nice seeing it like through the ages, right?
Exactly,
so
yes.
Your first movie is like, was it that medieval one or whatever?
Yes, yeah,
then
that's
you've got like a modern day one, then you've got a space one.
Have it like an something in the first, for why it keeps happening. Like,
like
a cycle.
Yes,
there's got to be a reason.
There'd be something for it.
Like a very overlaying arc, like for the fans. But you don't need to watch it. But it's for like the nerds who kind of are Easter eggs and
every time like the movie ends, I'd like there to be a snippet like Back to the Future 2 did. Like the next part will be, we're going to go do a prequel now, and it'll be in the Western times or something. Will be it's got potential, and I just think it'll be a lot of fun,
Yeah,
and.
Do you have like repeat actors or playing like descendants of their past?
I contemplated that. I'm glad you said that because I thought
descendants of the past, right? Like
American history.
It depends on how good the characters will be in the first movie because that's the one that's going to set it all up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then if you have like. If they could really grow to it and really love those characters, then possibly do that.
You that was my great granddad.
Yes, exactly. And then the last one would obviously be Invader, which is the space one, and then it could be like, he brings up pictures of his old, like my great granddaddy thought these things many years ago.
Yeah.
It could work.
I think so. It could work.
But we'll see.
Because is it American Horror Story? That's what they do, isn't it?
Yes,
they repeat the same
in the series,
cast,
isn't it? Yes.
Completely different
characters, but
same people.
Interesting. Yeah, that could work. But I like it already.
So yeah, Zombicide.
That's good, mate.
I don't own it, but I thought I'd throw it in there because I thought it'd just work out good as everyone would be a different theme to it.
I always thought you owned a Zombicide.
I do own it, but it just never got to the table. It's been sitting there for 2 years. So I had Invader.
You have to go, mate. Yep,
this is it. So yeah, that's my number 5. Let's go to number 4.
Number 4.
Chris, back to you, sir.
Right. Okay. Number 4. I am going for a game called Darkness Comes Rattling. You heard of this?
No.
It's one of my ones. It's basically the premise of the story is a giant snake, like huge, has come up and it's swallowed the sun. It's set in like barbarian times.
The fuck?
Yeah. It's come up, swallowed the sun, and it's starting to slowly digest the sun, and if you don't, the story is basically you need to get your warriors, go get the shadow weapons, jump into the belly of the snake, run down, get the sun.
No way.
Bust out. Right? Destroy the snake.
What amazing
release the sun. So I'm going to do this. This
sounds epic, doesn't it?
So how would you do this? Is this live action?
No, Beowulf.
Oh, like the 3D animated sort of style. Yes,
so
okay.
Like full
Good
CGI,
shout.
but like with like actors, so you know it because you knew it was who was it?
Ray Winston and stuff.
You knew it was him.
Yeah.
So and the same with Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, so it's all like the blue screen in background and stuff like that.
So I'll do it like that. So basically, you'd have this epic snake. It come up out of the ground, swallow the sun. These 4 clan barbarians go on this epic mission, like quest, and then you have to go and find the shadow weapons. And at the same time, you've got to please the gods, which are the winds, because if they don't, you fuck off. And then the world just goes to shit.
Yeah.
And then they release these shadow monsters, which can only be described as like ring wraiths from like Lord of the Rings.
Right, okay.
So these guys would come out and hunt the barbarians. It's got so many elements.
Yeah,
like when you die,
you
don't die. You become your spirit animal, so a wolf or hawk, and it's just it's.
And you own this game?
I own this game.
I've never heard of this.
It's really good.
I've only played it once, and it was and I bought it because the guy sold it. It's like I found a game. It sounded epic, and I was like, "You've sold it." Yeah. And then basically,
I'm sold on this movie. I own the game.
You give it to the big boy, Mr. Tank, Arnie, basically, of the group. He goes in full, tooled up, all the shadow weapons, and he basically just jumps down. and then he has to run down doing... In the game, you have to do little quests and little rolling dice, doing challenges, and you have to get there. We failed, didn't we?
I think we did, yeah. It was, it's a good game. The theme is absolutely banging, mate. It's like, that sounds like such a phenomenal theme.
And how's the art to it?
Such a great film.
It's very...
Lots of dark colours, isn't it?
Yeah, it's... Like, I want to say, just really kind of graphic, like graphic novel sort of style,
okay.
You know?
Yeah. Right.
And then the Shadow Warriors are like... I want to say like blue outlined sort of like spirit animals. So they kind of look very bright blue.
Yeah, against the dark. It's
This film only kind of works as a CGI because the snake.
The live action would be way too expensive a movie, wouldn't it?
It just doesn't work. But like and this could go to like Netflix. You know, these are one of these films that could just be like you've just got an epic quest here,
and because it's done in that style, you don't have to take it too seriously or anything like that. It's just fun, you know.
And you can have it brutal.
You can have a popcorn film, man. Like,
you
have this like snake just releasing stuff. Like obviously, he's not just doing up there.
Absolutely,
there's so much you could do, but it's more about the quests that they have to do to go and get these weapons. Because I'm a massive fan of like Clash of the Titans, the original. Anything where they have to go on a quest to get a few bits to destroy a Kraken.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that's basically how I've gone Clash of the Titans, but a bit more CGI.
No, it's a good shout, yeah.
Absolutely, mate. That's a cracking shout.
Yeah, Darkness Comes.
Number one you need to let me play as well.
We'll play that.
Yeah, you've got to get that to the table again, mate. That's very good.
Nice. Mr. Games Master, number 4.
Okay, my number 4 is kind of a silly one, I'll be honest with you, and it's The Bloody Inn.
Oh, nice!
So
yes.
I think The Bloody Inn...
This is good.
Yeah, it could be a really hilarious, like, black comedy.
Yes, I was literally about to say that would work well for that.
Like, it would be absolutely superb as that. So it's a card game. But the card game is you're playing members of a greedy, murderous family of innkeepers. And you are essentially trying to encourage people to stay at your inn. But if they're really rich, you kind of just murder them and steal all their money. And then you need to hide the bodies. But the hilarious thing about this game is, obviously, you need to be able to bury those bodies somewhere.
Yes, right, yeah.
And when you run out of space and the police come knocking, you end up killing the policeman because if he obviously catches you with bodies, like you lose a load of money in the game, right? And you get punished for it. So you end up killing the policeman, and then you've got nowhere to bury him, and then more policemen come in, like, oh shit. Your family's ending up with more and more. It's like this. It is
such a great what would happen situation, isn't it?
It's incredibly morbid, but the way it happens is fucking hilarious.
That would make a great movie. I miss movies like that, to be honest. They haven't done that sort of thing for a long time.
Yeah, the ones I can think of is it Burke and Hare, Simon Pegg. You know,
yes, yes.
And was it Sightseers or Hitchhikers? You know, the crazy.
Sightseers. Yeah, Ben Wheatley did it. Yeah.
Fucking people up on the walls. It was really dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be just stupid. Like, and on your turn, you can choose to bribe people, and like they become an accomplice, right? And they're in your like hand, and you're bribing weird people, like the mayor or whatever, and he's no way for it, or other police.
I love the artwork for this game.
Great,
so would you stick with that sort of style? It's like very Sweeney Todd type looking grunge darkness to it, isn't it?
I really would.
Yeah,
I absolutely would. Kind of keep to that type of vibe. So again, another animated thing. So that's not the entirety of my list, but these two just so happen to be. But I think in that way, as a dark comedy, it would be very good.
Is it British? Yeah. Was it Bloody Inn? So
Bloody Inn.
It's set in France. Oh, it's France.
Yeah, it's set in France. So I've got a couple of notes here that I'll try and find here.
You bought this last year over.
I've never played it.
Really enjoyed it.
Sounds awesome.
It is good, dude.
It's very good.
It's really good.
So France, 1831, in a remote corner of Ardèche. The little village of Péribel, I don't know how to say that, sees numerous travellers pass through. A family of greedy rural farmers is determined to make its fortune and has devised a diabolical strategy to achieve this goal. Invest in an inn so they can rob travelling guests. And that's basically it. So you got your inn and you rob them, but you end up eventually just killing them.
Yeah.
Because it's great. Cracking game. It would be wonderfully hilariously dark comedy. Black comedy film.
That would that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
You get the right cast for that, it would work so well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really would work, man.
Yeah.
That's a good choice, man.
Thank you.
My number 4, this is going to be so fucking obvious, mate, but I have pictured this since the first time I played this, or the first time you introduced this to me. No stranger to it, Nemesis.
Oh, Nemesis.
Now, this was obviously going to go on here.
Wait a minute. Go on.
Like you said, I tried my hardest not to take where a board game's taken inspiration from another movie. But I sort of explained this when we did the video game centre movies. Excuse me. When I mentioned Dead Space. And let's just say, for example, at the moment, the Alien saga is a bit of a downer. Nothing has beaten those first 2 movies ever since. And it's kind of gone downhill since. Nemesis, as well as Dead Space, could be the newest Alien saga.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah? This could be like the new thing. When you showed me that game, when we played it for the first time, I was envisioning how to make this a movie.
Really?
I love the idea of back as the first movie. It's all set on the ship. It's not on a planet or anything like that at all. Everyone's secluded, claustrophobic, very tight space of a ship, going down these corridors, trying not to make noise and stuff. Mate, it could be the next big thing, because let's face it, as great as Alien is now, I think the new generation needs a new sort of sci-fi horror element to this, and I think Nemesis would work so well. Where you got the let's say the ending, for example, they escape, but then at the very end, the aftermath pulls up, and it could be like the turn-on sequel to it. You've got different types of aliens from the expansions, like the Void Seekers or the Carnomorphs. Could you imagine that on film as a live-action movie? Practical effects and everything, just like they did with the first 2 movies. Good fucking God, this would be amazing. And it will be, how I always wanted to see those first Alien movies in the cinema, and how I could actually go to see it now. If they did that with this, this would be great. And obviously, if those movies ever get really big, they can do the expansions with the lockdown. And obviously, we've got a new one coming next year as well. So,
is it more like about a feeling of what the game gives you?
Yes.
As to what you expect.
So, yes.
We wouldn't see it as much.
Yeah.
So there wouldn't be much Alien. The terror would be there.
Because in the game, you've got to do certain things for them to be attracted to you. And that's what... There would always be that intensity of you're going to see something and then it'll just pop up very quickly, like the first movies do.
Yeah.
I want to have that sort of feeling to it as well. And up until, obviously, the big end where we get to see the big guy or whatnot, or we get to go in these rooms, take out fires, check the engines thing.
Yeah.
Also have the controversy of like someone's trying to sabotage your mission and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You could put so much into this movie, and it would be just a thrill ride to have back. We are lacking in a lot of sci-fi horror nowadays as moviegoers, and Nemesis, I think personally, could be a great Kickstarter. See what I did there? To get back into movies like this.
Do you think it's strong enough to stand on its own,
Yes.
or would you literally have it as the next Alien in the Alien franchise? And try and
I'd like it to stand on its own,
so
because
it's strong enough to just be its own thing. Yeah,
I mean, we all saw how big that Kickstarter was. It went into the millions marker, so there's an audience for this, 100%. And I just think it would work so well. I mean, the issue is the title is Nemesis as well, because people will go, "Oh, it's fucking based on a roller coaster."
Yeah, okay.
No, it's not.
Resi 3.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and interesting. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. What are you going to say?
Interesting enough, in the game, in Nemesis, there is like a couple of graphic novel interactive adventure stories which you can play through. And it has different scenarios that you set up, and then you have different things that you do based on the results of the games.
Yeah.
And it's very good. And the story of that is actually really, they could really leverage a lot of that, because it's all really smart stuff. It has time travel and all sorts of weird shit. It's great.
So my question is, say if you didn't play board games at all, and you saw the trailer, being the massive Alien fan that you are, basically that first sort of what you kind of picked, would you be sitting there kind of buzzing for it, or would you be saying, "Oh my God, they've totally ripped off my film"?
I mean, I would do both, but the thing is that it's like I mentioned to you that ever since I've had that Alien and Aliens fix, or the Alien saga fix, I've always looked for the next one to do it. So I've watched all these low budget ones and all these other ones that have tried to manipulate or copy that lightning in the bottle, and they haven't done justice to it. But if I saw it there, I would be like, okay, it is ripping off, but I would still go see it regardless,
because you like that type of thing.
Exactly. Yes,
could end up feeling oh, that was bloody scary. Like, I enjoyed that more. That gave me a bit more Event Horizon feel. Like, I wasn't expecting that. That was...
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I had to put it in there because, again, being a big fan of that sort of genre, okay, we all know it's a straight copy, but had to put it in there.
Fair enough.
So
I think if you kind of went away from the, the main sort of little character and had the if you kind of just changed the alien look from the xenomorph looking ones to some of the expansion packs and something, I think you could introduce them later without having people, go, oh, this is a completely different alien.
Or you could have them all on the ship,
of them.
mate. And they'd all it would be terrifying.
But I want it to be like sort of shot dark, like literally the only flashlight they have is what's on their gun or something, or on their headpiece is whatnot.
Shot real dark.
Yes, to give it like the movie Descent. I don't think you've ever seen it. There's women going, literally the lights in that are just what they have on them, and that's how
more like it is in the games, right? Everything is literally black, and like you can't remember the shit. Interesting.
Just to put people in that perspective. Yeah,
nice.
Fantastic choice. Number 3's.
Number 3.
Back to you, Chris.
Okay, so this one is my little bit of a caveat. So I've kind of stayed away from films that have either been released or have a lot of kind of source material. But this one, I feel like the film didn't do justice, and I felt a little bit robbed, even though it's all right. And the game I've gone for is Letters of Whitechapel.
Nice.
Ooh, okay.
Right, which is obviously the story of Jack the Ripper.
Yes.
Now, the only film that I know is the Johnny Depp
From Hell,
From Hell, which is kind of good, but
I like it. It's good.
It good,
but it's more based on the comic book, though. Is the thing, isn't it?
Because obviously the murders are very dark and out the way. My one would be, you'd see the murders, it would be brutal.
Yeah.
But my way of thinking about it is because you're the cops trying to track him down.
Yes.
I want to do it as, because you got cops as Westerners, like cowboy, like the sheriffs, and then you have like 70s and 80s cops. But there's no sort of cops movies between Victorian, like many, because obviously they're pretty naff.
Like during the war phases and stuff like that.
During the war phases. So I would kind of have them a bit, they're not so bobby, but they are a bit bobby.
Sure.
So it'd be maybe a bit lot-stocky feel with a bit, but not so cockney. I got that sort of gritty.
Okay.
We have it going pretty quick.
Yeah.
We're not having slow. And it'd be the cops trying to chase him down. It'd be this phantom, like, he's a ghost, he's not a man. But my whole kind of thought for the film is there's so many sort of conspiracies of, like, who's Jack the Ripper, blah, blah. Maybe right at the end, you kind of see him sit down and there's, like, he just shuts a drawer and there's, like, a royal emblem on a letterhead. Or so, because they always said he was a member of the... I would kind of give a little bit of a closure of... Here's my
so you're going for the Christopher Nolan ending where it's there and people can interpret their own little thing,
So it's my first sort of, like, it's a cops and robbers, basically. You're chasing down a criminal, you're chasing him down over 3 nights, basically. But you are the 2 best cops
and it's
of the beat.
My question to you is are you going straight with just the game? Is literally, we're just catching this guy. We're not trying to figure out who he was. We're just going to do that up until that last bit at the end where you might have the little...
The other bit I was kind of thinking was the cops find him and they get rid of him.
Right, okay.
And that's why it was never solved. Like, whatever happens,
that could be
something.
That would really infuriate people. They'd be like, "No, we want to play where we in."
Whatever happens, I'm not having a sequel of loads of Jack because
no.
He hasn't been done much.
Yeah,
and I feel like I don't want him like being the next like Slayer. I just want a movie where you do see him brutally kill people,
but we could have had the identity, and it was put aside.
But I just want one of the conspiracy maybe as a little... But it's only if you knew. By, like, closing that drawer of a letterhead, if you saw a royal emblem, most people wouldn't put the 2 and 2 together. But
right,
actually,
it was the royal member. Or...
I think that would be great, mate. And I can see what you mean in terms of style, like lots of fast-cutting, kind of like that old Guy Ritchie...
without it
Michael
being...
type style.
And this is live action, obviously,
live action. Like, go for it. But Jack would be... He would just be a dark figure. You wouldn't see him.
Yeah.
Because you never know who he is. It would be pretty much like you know how they do in the old horror movies.
Yeah,
You'd see his coat, you see him
See
doing
carnage,
it all
yeah.
backlit, and it'd be like From Hell, but you just go, once he's dragged him in, then you'd see...
It's all about the cops then, yeah. And the
Yeah.
chase.
Yeah.
It's all about the chase, mate.
And the
Beating up suspects. And
you can have
all
the
sorts.
interpretation of how he does the slashing, like that way, whether you go comic book, like...
Yeah,
or,
okay.
You know, like Sin City
City,
style,
yeah.
You know... Yeah.
That'd be really good.
Yeah.
Like just the blood effect, everything's black and white.
Yeah. And then he goes back to like runs off, and he's like, because those whistles are pretty terrifying. You know, the old,
The old Bobby
The ones that they
whistles,
used to, yeah.
very misty
Yeah.
London, and it's basically all set pretty much nighttime. You know, like it's always kind of darky looking. You know,
Yeah.
I'll have it pretty gritty, foggy.
Yeah.
Would you ever have like hints of the game, like because in the game, if you find the yellow marker, you're on his trail, aren't you? Would you have
Yeah.
something like that go like
Well, I think-
he was here, it's this way or something?
I think they would have. I think either when the two good coppers, because they're not actually afraid of him, they're saying he's not a man, basically, like, he's just a man. We can find him, and they can have it like where they're chasing him down, blah 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 blah, you know, and they're on him. Then he gets away, but like they are on him. So they know he knows that they're like, oh, I kind of got away there, but you don't see him. But
would you have the so say you've got two guys after him? Would you have one be like he's just a man, but then the other guy's like, no, he's more than just a man or something?
no,
and then,
I think they would both. They're not going to be over the top.
well, they're both over that.
They're
He's just a geezer.
They're not giving it the large. They're just two
Really fucking good
cockney
coppers,
sort of like.
Yeah.
They're just not taking no bullshit. Basically.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's different because
I don't
that's
want him to be
yeah.
like the tough guy cop because they're not the nuts of the bobbies. They're just they're not standing for women being done like that. You know, that's just
I like that because movies always tend to balance it. So you've got two different types of audiences that will have that. But the fact that you've just gone straight in and go, no, this guy is
one
this.
of them knew the girl on the rounds. You know,
something like that.
He always saw her out. Maybe at the beginning of the film, he checks her and he goes, "How you doing today?" So he's blah blah blah. Walks off, and then when he sees the body, he's a bit
he's pissed off.
Like, we get this.
It's got a motive now to do it.
Nice.
I fucking go see that.
Yeah,
Totally.
sounds good. I like it, mate.
Nice. Games Master number 3.
Oh gosh, it's back around to me already. My number 3 is. Let me have a look at my list here. My number 3 is going to be Inish.
Ooh, okay. I've recently just played this as well. So
What did you think of the game?
liked it. I like it's the limit of 6, isn't it? Game.
That's right.
Yeah,
It's kind
yeah.
of a rule of 6.
Rule of 6. That's the one.
right.
Yes, way to say.
Three
Yeah.
different- 3 different ways of winning, and it's like of the 6. I think.
Artwork on the cards is gorgeous as well.
Here's part of the reason why this particular game like this is the artwork is absolutely stunning through all of the cards. It's beautiful. All of the tiles are amazing as well. Everything is lovely about that game. And Inish explores something that I don't think I see a lot of in like big mainstream like movies. Mm-hmm. And it's sort of that old Celtic history of old Irish gods and like real old ancient Ireland or ancient, all that sort of area, ancient time. And it's essentially that. The game revolves around trying to elect the new king. Right, so you've got a Bren who is like the king in waiting, and you're trying to win the game by becoming king, either through one of several ways, through domination of land, or having the most lordships over certain amounts of people. And I see this as sort of like a relatively big budget sort of drama.
Okay.
Right? So like not historical, semi-historical, but really like fantasized historical, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sort of basing it on real, like, written or proposed, famous figures from that time, but making it more like, if you imagine like the Vikings TV series.
Absolutely,
like a bigger budget. As a movie,
absolutely.
set with like ancient Celtic times. And then, you've got all of the gods as well, who like a very real thing to these people. And so representing the god powers and things like that. You're also, doing great deeds and collecting epic tales and doing stuff like that. And so there is loads of scope in there to have like hero adventures on behalves of these different, warring and political clans. Having people going out and doing these great deeds for the good of their clan, and that's why our clan leader should be is the Bren, and he needs to be king. So there's loads of stuff that you think you could do with that. I can see this, really kind of smoky, semi-historical but highly fantasized drama.
Nice. It's just I don't think I can pick a movie that has Irish mythology into it whatsoever.
Yeah, the Irish gods and heroes, and
the
Dagda, for example.
Yeah,
and all of these. There's great stories to be had there. You don't see a lot of big budget stuff that really explores that.
And would you bring the art into the movie somehow, or
maybe, possibly.
Like a dream effect or something, or
dream effect, something like that.
Just a nice little nod to the game.
Yeah, potentially. Absolutely. Yeah, but I certainly see some sort of physical involvement of the god powers in the game, because that is how the myths and legends that is based on would make the whole movie be its thing. Right? So, anyway, that would be my pick for.
No, nice pick, mate.
Thank you.
Yeah. My number 3 is going to be The Lost Ruins of Arnak. I picked this merely because last week me and my wife went to see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and when we watched that, do you know what? I sat there and I was like, I miss movies like this. I miss movies with that blockbuster, temple, Tomb Raider type sort of style to it, Indiana Jones sort of style to it. And I thought Lost Ruins of Arnak would make a great movie like this as well. And so for example, like, obviously Indiana Jones is out at the moment and all the interviewers are in their 20s and whatnot. And every time they've spoken to Harrison Ford, they've said, my dad loves Indiana Jones. And he's gone, everyone's telling me this is their dad. Why is there no one of your age telling me this?
Yeah.
That's why I think, again, Lost Ruins of Arnak, like with Nemesis, could be the new thing for them.
Okay.
And have that same sort of style of adventure.
Yeah.
That's why I like going to the movies, is for adventure. To put me in places like that and to like just go exploring these new parts of the world that I never even knew existed and stuff and whatnot. Lost Ruins of Arnak can do that with everything and bring like even some of the blockbuster events to it, like how Pirates of the Caribbean brought skeletons to life and Davy Jones and whatnot. Again, Lost Ruins of Arnak can do that with the Guardians or the different types of temples you can locate and how you would get there and all the different types of journeys you can do. All different cards that you, when you deck build, you've got different companions and different artifacts that can help you get on their journey. I think it would just be so much fun and just be a worthy summer adventure blockbuster, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Because that is what I miss at movies. Again, it's what I miss quite a bit with movies now. And I don't think we've had that sort of feeling since maybe the Mummy movies, maybe.
Really?
The first two.
That far away?
But yeah, because we've had Tomb Raiders and whatnot, but I don't think they've ever had that fit. Even though it's called Tomb Raider, they've never had that Indiana Jones sort of like, explorer effect as much as those movies did.
No, the Angelina Jolie missed a trick, I thought. I did like the other Tomb Raider one. She
had the aspect of it, but I enjoyed it. Yeah,
it didn't have the magic that you're talking about. Uncharted should have been it. Should have been the new forward. I thought they
could have been missed opportunity
massively because that is the new Indiana Jones if you got people in the right way.
Absolutely.
And
that's the thing, because my guys who I game with quite a bit is he hates Indy but likes Drake. Again, this is the name of Drake. This is the audience we're coming up with now.
That's a weird one because I love Drake because of
Indy. This is it.
Indy's cool.
Exactly.
Indy's the man. Come on.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% behind. And like I said earlier, I like those sort of national treasure, that sort of temple ruin. Take me places that I can't ever go to.
Exactly.
I can pay money to go to it, but I can't get inside pyramids. I can't get inside these.
Make sure it doesn't have The Rock in it either, because let's face it, he's been and done that with Jumanjis and stuff. But if we get someone like Chris Pratt in or something, that'd be pretty good. Just a lot of fun, man. Good time at the cinema.
Absolutely.
That's why I've picked Lost Ruins, mate. Number 2's, guys.
Number 2.
Back over to you, Chris.
Okay. So this one, I'm going for a very film noir, but colour. But I want it colour, but very looking.
But the style of a film noir.
Style. Yeah. And it'd be dark, it'd be misty, and it's called Unfathomable.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
Good shout, sir.
So basically,
good fucking shout.
The whole film will start. They've already kind of set sail that they're on the voyage.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to start with them boarding the boat and whatnot?
Well, a bit Titanic. You know they're fucked. Well, we can either have it on, but like we're not fannying around getting to the.
So you're putting them straight into it. Straight into it. Gotcha.
Straight into there. You know, you got the captain who looks dodgy. Probably not dodgy, but I want to throw him in there to just
give the audience that feel.
Yeah, and then it'll be kind of set in the sense that it'll be a very dark and eerie sort of film. Like, it'll make you feel a bit uneasy. You're not going to see lots. I kind of want either people going mad, but they don't know why they're going mad, because the madness takes over once you get infected, don't you?
It's just, I think the way you're saying this, I could picture the boat and how it's all done and everything.
The whole boat is just
loads of rain,
fog. It's just fog.
Rain and fog.
It's just deep fog around, so you can't see much. And then obviously you'll have the creatures that come on later on, or maybe not. But you can have
Hydra.
You can have massive. Like on the like, you know, that's like Cthulhu, or like you kind of see the big shadow over the windows. You don't see Cthulhu, or he's in the fog. But you have it a bit. But the point is, you kind of they kind of work out they've got to stop. Someone lets something slip of what's happening, and they basically kind of have to do what the game, and you have to stop the port, close the gate. And that is basically the film.
It sounds great, right? Because it's
so go on, Wayne. Go.
No, it's okay. It's just to clarify. It's Lovecraft, right? And Lovecraft is just ripe full of ideas. And there's been some stuff. I mean, there's been like Lovecraft Country and
which had the potential, and shame we never got a second season.
And there's a number of other movies and etc. of the Lovecraft mythos. But this particular one seems so good. It's so creepy. Essentially, it's like 1913, and you're on a steamship in the middle of the Atlantic.
I would,
that whole idea, and then you got Cthulhu involved, and people like being, turning into like the old ones.
So you got the hybrids,
like becoming fish people. It's fucking creepy.
I would have a bit of that with the madness. A couple of jump scares, like Bilbo Baggins of The Hobbit. Like the faces of the madness where it drops like. Stuff
the obsession
of what's going on, but you don't ever see Cthulhu because he's basically rising. But
it's always the hint of him, though.
Because obviously the hidden traitor aspect is the people who are basically going mad, or the people who are trying to open the port. I mean, you could have it work out that they needed to be there for because it worked out. It's like, oh, how did you get tickets? Oh, I won tickets, or someone bought me a ticket. Like. Did no one buy a ticket for this? And then you kind of realise, oh fuck, something's not right.
Some sacrificial shit.
Have a bit like that with a bit of what's it, like a murder mystery.
I was literally about to ask, because you talked about the captain at the start. Are you going to have that, who's the hybrid sort of feel to it as well?
I kind of want it, but I don't want him to be I just want him to look dodge,
So how I'm seeing it, I'm kind of seeing it as that, what's that Western Tarantino movie?
Oh, Hateful Eight.
Yeah, I'm kind of seeing it like that kind of now, where you've
Steamboat.
Got on a steamboat covered in fog.
That's what I mean. Like anything
who poisoned the coffee?
There you go. Yes, exactly. And
that's
the only thing with maybe that point is knowledge of what people might believe what's going on out there. At least
I see.
When you're a bit further on, there is spooky and a bit more.
Absolutely, I think it's ripe for a great idea, man. I think that'd be awesome.
But I think
sign me up. You mentioned Cthulhu, because I'm sold on that.
Is the eeriness with that odd, not many jump scares, but just
enough to keep you on your toes.
Just enough of like, oh my god,
just enough to keep people interested. You don't want to do the jump scare too much, because then it just get people like, it's going to another jump scare coming,
another one, or whatever, or like, or you think a jump scare's coming, but it's not even that stupid cat.
Are you going to have the epic budget for when Mother Hydra shows up? Or
I don't think that. I think
it's got to be shadowy.
I think
you reckon
we
stick with that?
Go maybe was it the Mist? Is it
Yes,
the mist?
the mist has got the
You don't see it, do you?
Yeah.
Kind of, but you can see it.
Well, what about the deep ones? Are you going to have them pop up?
Maybe
or-
I'll have them come in, but that would be more. I don't know whether those lure people to madness, because I don't because there's no way that they could beat him. If you know what I mean, I don't think they could.
And that's what I'm saying, because in the game you kind of attack them. So in this, would you like?
I think they would be lures as sacrifices.
Okay.
To that sort of, or we'll work it, but
I think about halfway through for me, I feel like the crew, like in the game, would start, trying to kill them, and then there'd be like a whole trying to keep everyone safe. But then obviously,
they see deep ones, and they're actually attacking that person or something. Yeah, okay.
And then like in the games, like halfway through it, like someone gets on the crew gets infected again. Like,
one of the passengers has to actually know what's going on. Sort of thing. And he's there. He's just been.
He's the investigator, or trying to find out.
He's just been waiting.
Yeah.
And then he says, right, this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
Start fucking believing me now.
Yeah. Nice. I like it.
But yeah, such a good shout. I need to play that game again, man. I miss playing that game.
Tentacle against the window, like
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All of that. I see it. That's a great choice.
But you had me at Tentacle. Nice choice there.
Good
Games
stuff.
Master number 2.
My number 2 is Wasteland Express delivery service.
Hey, nice.
Would be a hilarious one. It has those sort of Mad Max type vibes, I guess, when you're playing the game. But I'm kind of seeing it more as, what was that zombie movie? Like the comedy kind of one, like
Zombieland.
Kind of more like that kind of approach in terms of its humour, like more humorous.
Yep.
Than like a Mad Max. So Wasteland Express, essentially, you take on the role of these half insane drivers for the last delivery company left on Earth, which is the Wasteland Express delivery service. And in order to make a living, you are essentially delivering goods and guns and supplies through the absolute post-apocalyptic wasteland, like a hellscape, essentially, trying to please different factions, do missions, keep everyone happy, but then you've also got like raiders you're trying to avoid, and they're trying to steal your shit as you're trying to do deliveries, and you're literally just trying to do a legitimate 9-to-5 job in this chaos around you. Like, I'm trying to deliver these fucking goods from here to here, and I've got raiders, I've got this fucking mutant shit going on, I need rockets on my fucking van. All that sort of stuff. I think it'll be amazing. I was like this, kind of comedic-ish action film.
Yeah.
So you mentioned it having that same style as Mad Max. So would you do? Is this live action, or are you going to do animated? How are you going to differentiate?
This would definitely be live action, and I'm thinking more like I suppose a Borderlands type vibe.
Okay,
right. So if you think of that type of humour and that type of approach, right,
then people can sort of sway past the Mad Max thing.
Yeah,
Fury
exactly.
Road with a left turn.
Yeah, sort of somewhere between those two things, right? And having that sort of very similar type of almost sort of winking at you humour.
Okay.
Like almost breaking the fourth wall.
Nice.
Camping up the vehicles a bit, like
yeah,
not having it
super camping
like
up, mate.
with the Mad Max where it's all. You could have like the sponsorship, even though he's not sponsored by anything, he could have really cool artwork, and one guy could be like really into his truckers, like because some of the artwork on some of the trucks
it's
is
amazing.
Really cool. You could have a really cool concept of what their trucks look like, and
I'm kind of seeing it directed by Edgar Wright for some reason, with really poppy colours,
and he's got good driving directions as well, with Baby Driver and stuff.
Baby Driver and Scott Pilgrim and Space,
and his choice of soundtracks as well would really bring that to
exactly, because they listen to the fucking radio and they're on their big wagon, man. They're out on the road delivering stuff. It's going to be listening to soundtracks, so music could be a big part of the film as well, and chaos, and I think it'd be great fun. Yeah, that's my idea. Wasteland Express delivery.
That's a good choice, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good. My number 2 is going to be Project Elite.
Project Elite. Nice, that was on my.
I picked this again. It's Starship Troopers, if you would, essentially, isn't it? But also, if it brings it to new audiences, is if you ever play online multiplayers, they call it like a horde mode or ongoing wave mode of creatures and whatnot, sort of thing. Why can't this be a movie of it? I mean, I would love to see again, live action if we can, with the obviously CGI of the creatures and stuff, the different types of bosses, different types of scenarios. Like,
Yes.
to start the movie, it'd be take out a nest, but then the end of the movie, it'll be to set explosions up or defeat other monsters and stuff like that. It has action up the yin yang, and it would work so well. Like the alien tech and the different types of jetpacks they can do. The expansions have growing watchtowers, and I can picture so much stuff here, just to bring it to life. Like just to when you're surrounded by all these creatures, and to have a live action version of that, I just think would be phenomenal. You know, and just having all these different types of situations, I want to bring the time limit into it somewhere, because that's a big part of the game as well, isn't it? Is the time limit. So I like to have that nod of that in there somewhere. But also like to see the different styles of characters you have, the different types of armor they have. They all have different abilities and stuff. Like you got the two with the guns, one that can move faster and stuff like that. Could you imagine just a movie of that? Would be friggin' awesome.
Could you not just have the
and Paul Verhoeven
first movie, I don't know, maybe, but full real time. So the clock starts at 2 hours, and basically the ship's coming in 2 hours.
There we go.
Survive. It starts, and then it's basically just
that runtime would be
that time is just we've got to just hold the whole movie's just holding off. The scene basically doesn't cut or. Bit what 1917 did, you know, like
yes, like the one shot thing,
well, you don't realise it's one shot until you go, fuck me, we've not fucking taken a breath.
Yeah. That'd be cool, like a one shot thing.
The whole
it's got so much potential, man. Bring Paul Verhoeven back as well, who did Star Trek Troopers, because that man can do big budget sci-fi stuff, and good God, I think it would just work so well.
Love it.
Action junkie sci-fi, right up my fucking alley.
Yes, mate, let's go.
Number ones.
It's number one.
Bring it home, Chris. Your number one, sir.
Number one is pretty much my number one game, and I just let's just make it a movie. Blood Rage.
Nice.
Blood Rage,
so this was so close on my list as well.
So basically, I just want for anybody for the game, it's basically Ragnarok's gonna happen.
It's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening. Yeah.
It's happening. And all of these factions and these barbarian, Viking clans are just going to war, basically, for survival. Making their way to Yggdrasil for the last place to be alive.
Yeah.
And I would just have the movie either certain, the trolls or the monsters sort of thing, they would either come in and wipe out the land, because in the lands they blow up a land, don't they? In the game,
is this live action?
Live
well?
action,
right, okay.
Live action, full CGI. I'm going a bit budget, give me a bit Lord of the Rings.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
But what I don't want is 10,000 I want clans. So there's 100 here, there's 200 there. So it seems epic, but there's not epic. Okay. So by the end of it, you do notice the diminishing.
Are you thinking like a Peter Jackson type direction then?
Peter Jackson without it being
a blatant copy of Lord of the Rings.
No,
it's more how you can do the trolls and the big beasts,
ice giants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They would have to be the half-frost, the Bifrost and stuff, and all those stuff. So you'd have to have them really kind of either that they are part of a clan, like the big giants out of Game of Thrones, where they're actually part of their clan, or they can either have to go and get these. But basically, it's just a all-out war.
Yes. Between the clans,
and how would you bring
glorious death?
Yeah, how would you bring the rage aspect to it? Because that's how you build up your guys, essentially, isn't it? With rage. Would you? How would you bring that into the movie, essentially? Would you build it as their ego, their rage is better?
I think you notice it by the end of it. You only have the absolute cream of the crop, nuts. Raging Vikings. All the other ones are dead.
Right.
The rage is pretty much
you just got to keep going
the
more
best
rage.
of the best by the end of it. So they're just absolute, and it's just basically being the last one alive,
the most ragey.
But I want the film to end as
everyone just dies anyway.
Just it's Ragnarok just wipes them out, but they just want to be
glorious
going
death.
out in full battle. That's it. Because if you're going to die, the only way to go to Valhalla is to die in battle.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like
for glory.
It's basically one big suicide movie.
Yeah.
Because they have to die.
So they go in full rage and thinking, just fuck it.
Everybody, but then you'd have some clans just trying to take out other clans for personal beefs at the start of it.
Yeah.
You just have it as like, everybody know that the signs of Ragnarok have happened. You know, the cracking, I don't know how it would be done, but it's just when I thought of it, when I saw the game, when I had the game, I would just love to see it as one big. Don't drag it out. Yeah. Give me maybe a 2 hour, 20-minute full epic. I don't want the guys to look CGI. I want them there to be real actors.
Real actors.
Live action.
That's why you notice the diminishing.
Numbers of
during the
a
bit like by the end of like Braveheart. Halfway through, you're like,
do you know what that scene in Braveheart is still one of the best battle scenes in film. It's just the brutality of that needs to be done on film again, and just
that's basically how I would have the battling, but in Viking it wouldn't be so, but it would just be absolutely
carnage,
raging,
fire going on and explosions, like the world's ending. It's literally ending.
But the fun is like, obviously it's that little elf nut job in Yggdrasil who's absolutely terrifying. He's only a tiny. He's a tiny, and I don't know how he would come into it, but like
he's coming into it somehow. Yeah. Nice, yeah.
And then you've got your boats as well. You've got your sea creatures.
Well,
they come into it as
like
well.
Basically, the pillaging of like that's how like some
pillaging. That's
you come in and they're just raiding it. They're just doing like
it'd be nuts
pillaging and raid. How it's done, and I'll have it full 18 because Vikings works, and we know there's a market for it.
Absolutely,
yeah.
And I just think if you didn't drag it out and you just for what it was.
Yeah.
Because you can make it into a...
So when Ragnarok hits, that's it? Movie's over?
Like...
How would you involve the goal? Would you involve the gods in any way? It's like you get like different blessings, right? Because you've got different cards, they'll give you different things. Like you've got Loki's effects, stuff like that.
You could have Loki and maybe someone else as like... Do you know those watchers or bystanders elsewhere?
Yeah.
And it's like... Good job, like how they're doing like Clash of the Titans or Good Omens. That sort of like they could be watching as part of the.
Yeah, man.
It's their carnage. They want to see what's happening.
Nice.
I don't know how it would work, but I just
there's ways around it. Yeah,
it was just everything else I sort of thought of, but this one was
just apocalyptic. This one I just war.
For personal. I would love to see it a movie because it could be done and it could be done well.
I think so.
It would be, mate. Definitely. Get the right people on it and the budget. Easily done, mate.
Absolutely.
Good choice, sir. Bring it home, Mr. Games Master. Number one.
My number one is also one of my number one games of all time. This is Rising Sun. Rising Sun. There is so much about the theme of this game I like. It's sort of set in mythological Japan. So, like, where you have, like, the kami, who are... returning from the underworld, displeased with all of the different clans and the empire, essentially. And then essentially you have all the different clans in the game, and they all represent a different part of Japan, and they're all warring for supremacy. And then you have they're trying to bid to the various gods of the game. They're trying to maybe appeal to the kami, but you're doing lots of political alliances with people. There's betrayal, different clans betraying each other. You're playing political mandates as part of the game. You're deciding as a group and with your ally whether you need to recruit more people, whether you need to marshal your troops into other lands. Obviously, declaring your intent of war, or whether you want to harvest the land for the year, for example. And you have honor as a part of the game as well. So if you are the most honorable, you'll get advantages like breaking ties, etc. But if you're the least honorable, then you get the advantage of using the Oni, the great devil creatures who will help you. So in a movie, I'm seeing like definitely like a clan-based, deeply political war, right?
Yeah.
But also with this massive supernatural element of like summoning demons
So throughout the movie, are you building up to this war? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah? Much like the game gives you the feeling of like an increasing intensity.
Yes.
I think that's how I'd see the movie, where it'd be start with like smaller battles and then ending up with huge battles and then fucking kaiju battles at the end. Like just as there's something
like a full-on 3-hour Japanese.
That film could be done as a 2-part.
Yeah.
Like like a 2-part film. Kill Bill, Hobbit. It's so massive. There's so much you could do. You could either cram it all in there, or
split it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier about like there's so many, like the Eric Lang universe. You've got this. You've got Ankh. There's another one on my honorable mentions I'll say later. But like there's so many of his games that I personally like. That you have a Marvel universe. They tried to do a dark universe.
The Eric
Lang universe, mate.
Like you could do it.
So are you bringing all the creatures into this as well?
Yes,
and
all of them, all of the demons,
all
of the Oni, all of that sort of wild stuff, all of the spirits. Right, it's like a proper mythological, mythological Japan. I think it would be a massive.
Still has one of the best models in that game as well. The way they do the dragons and stuff in that game is unreal. Those models.
I wouldn't even it wouldn't be like an 18 or anything like that. It'd be like you could make it more like a 12A or something.
Would you have it looking like Last Samurai style?
Yeah.
Or would you go a bit more?
I'm thinking more like a Dennis Villeneuve type vibe, maybe like that.
But a bit fire. Yeah.
Maybe I don't know, but maybe like that. I don't know. All I know is that it would have to have all of those elements, mate. All of that fantasy element.
Definitely.
But as well as that, you want to see like it is represented in the game. You want to see the diplomatic, political bullshit, the betrayal of like different allies when one invades the other, and the surprise. And then when that happens, like they summon fucking Godzilla, which like you can do in the game at the end. There's loads of stuff.
God, that'd be such a cool fucking cameo at the end.
Yes, mate.
If you have Godzilla in.
The Turtle Clan just like goes, fuck you, we summoned Godzilla, or and big Gojira, giant lizard comes out, and then you've got.
Would you have all the clans in it, or just specific ones?
Continue.
You probably halve it to 3 or 4 clans, right? So as opposed to all 6 clans. I mean, I typically would only play 3 or 4 players anyway, but 4 players. So maybe 4 clans.
Yeah,
and having their different abilities as well, right? And then you've also got the gods that you pray to. I think.
Oh crap! I forgot about that.
So yes, Shinto going up the mountain trying to gain the favor of the gods, who then will work for you, and all that sort of crazy stuff. Yeah, it would be wild. Like would you fantasy epic?
Would you ever have like when it sort of cuts to black and it comes up a little bit right and saying chapter 1 or whatever, nothing like that? But would yours come up and go the T phase or the or the God phase and
black screen, like bit of music and then T.
Yes,
right? And it would be like all of the diplomatic, political shit in the different clans, like making alliances and promises with each other. Working together through the seasons, harvesting. So that sort of stuff.
Oh god, it's in seasons as well, isn't it? Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, so you could do it. Yeah, so your T.
That's what I mean. The film's epic.
Yeah.
When it does that, it's you're in for a fucking ride when it does that. Yeah, that'd be so fucking good.
And then each mandate you'd go through, and then there'd be marshalling of troops and blah blah. Yeah, so I imagine that would be pretty fun.
Fucking A would. Yeah, sign me up for that.
Thank you.
I hope they if you do the movie poster, it's got to be the same as the board, the same art style.
It's so good, isn't it?
That'd be fucking good.
The artwork in that game is incredible. Yeah, real good one.
Shout, sir. Nice one.
Thank you.
Because you've done Blood Rage and you've done Rising Sun, I feel like I've got to do Aang now for my number 1, to be honest. As much as I like to know, it's an honourable mention it was, though. My number 1 is obviously the same as you guys, one of my favourite games. Sort of with your style, sir. We're going to go stick with the tentacles. We're going to go with Cthulhu Death May Die.
Okay.
I picked that. Nice. Even though the game is sort of designed as a TV series, I've picked it specifically, like Wayne, you mentioned there were little things with Cthulhu in it or hints of Cthulhu in movies, but there has never been an actual movie with Cthulhu in it.
Like loads of
and
Cthulhu.
There's we've had little hints of it in other movies and stuff. We've had TV series with him pop up, but to have an actual big blockbuster movie with him in, I feel like this would be a really good start for it.
Yeah.
I liked it because, again, we can go with the different types of... We don't even have to have the same investigators every time. It could be different every movie if it wanted to, if it ever got big. But I would like it... I picked it specifically because I would like an introduction to have a Cthulhu verse, if you will, because it doesn't have to be just him. There are other elder gods in the whole series of Cthulhu.
I could be part of it.
Unfathomable can pop into it as well, be part of the whole series of it, if you will. Again, we don't have to have one yearly like Marvel, but just one every few years or so would just be. I think it'd just be fucking kick-ass. I would love to go see that in a cinema, to be honest, and just be like...
We're definitely missing, like, Cthulhu action.
Yeah. Right? Or something like Manchester Madness, you know? Again, is like a murder mystery type thing, but to have that there, I think we need to have something sort of Cthulhu into cinema.
More Lovecraft. That's what we need, mate.
Yes.
More Lovecraft.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cthulhu Death Die is amazing. I like that it's definitely much more like... I'm going to go and shoot Cthulhu in the face, go mad and get more powerful.
This is it.
It's a much more like action-forward type of spin on the theme.
Yes.
I think that would make for a real amazing popcorn film.
Man. And again, we're not just talking about the creatures and the gods in this. We've got the actual cultists as well in this. Yeah. And I love to have that. I love that whole idea of like going back to you with Chris with what's it called, Jack the Ripper. How we've got that underground sort of cultists that rule the town of this world, who are trying to bring an elder god to life and stuff, and
put
just
all the robes on and shit.
Exactly. It just oh my god, it would just be so fucking awesome, man. It has so much potential to it, and I love the fact that all our number ones were Eric Lang games.
Yeah, that's right. Eric, mate.
Eric,
killing it.
Got the ideas. So yeah, I had to put that in there, not just because it's my favourite game of all time, but the fact that again, I just love that theme, that verse, and I think it'd be great to bring that to cinema, personally.
I absolutely agree. I think it's a fantastic one, mate.
Is that set, like, would that be, when's that kind of set?
This is sort of set in the like
day kind of?
50s, 40s, yeah.
In theory, depending on how you did it, say the people on the boat could be
there could be
them, and they're already half nuts as it is because of the journey that they've been on. You know, depending on how you
yours
do
is the prequel, essentially, isn't it? Yeah, because yours was 1913. This is, I think it's sort of like between the 30s and the 50s, this one.
Well, I have one of them as, like an older man or not, but like, there's so many universes.
Or if you see that type of creature, they go, oh, that was the creature that was on the Unfathomable or something, or whatever.
Or they can look up stuff.
Yeah.
And they can bring up, this happened.
Yeah, it's like 30 odd years ago or something. But yeah, like I said, so much potential.
Absolutely.
Should be done.
More action-based Cthulhu. That sounds wicked.
That's what we need. Guys, fantastic list. I don't think we clashed at all, to be honest, did we?
Amazingly, no. That was 15 entirely unique things.
I thought I might have clashed with Unfathomable being Wayne's game.
Yeah. Do you know what? That was so fucking close to going on my... I couldn't have two Cthulhu's games on my list.
I played it 3 times, and it is exactly... I love a traitor with... If you can twist me as like...
Of course it was him the whole time. Oh my god.
Exactly.
I don't want to be him.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what the difference between yours and mine would be, because you also have that murder mystery sort of type thing. Mine's is obviously full on action adventure type sort of stuff. So again, it's not repeating the same formula every time, is it?
You could do
so it could be done, mate. Does anyone have any honourable mentions at all?
I've got a couple.
Go for it.
One of them being... It's a game that I've not even played, but it's on my list that I want to buy. It's called Victorian Masterminds.
Okay.
Basically, it's another Eric Lang game. The premise is Sherlock Holmes has died.
Ooh.
So all supervillains now feel like this is open.
It's our time.
Open season. And basically, they're trying to build these massive machines. Think Wild Wild West and the spider. One's like a giant spider, one's a bee, one's a giant like claw and a airship. Basically, it's just open. He's dead. They feel like they can now come up, and basically the Secret Service has to stop him. Basically,
okay.
So that's one.
That sounds really fun. How's no one done that already?
I don't know.
That'd be cool, though.
This was the one that I was going to go on my list, but Manhattan Project.
Yeah.
Again, not played it, so no, yeah.
But then Oppenheimer's coming out next week, or in a couple.
Yes, it is.
Which is pretty much the film I want.
That's
it's telling me the real story of how it's made, so I can't really... But I would have done that as like either the two scientists are friends or rivals in uni. They go their separate ways. One's for Russia, one blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And you have it as that. But you cut between spies going into here. It would have just be all set in one. The whole game would be... There'd be little bits coming off, and then one of the power plants would be wiped off at the end.
Yes. Nice. I like the idea of it.
And then just give me a straight up, full blown King of Tokyo, Pacific Rim sort of style.
Nice.
I just want...
Nice, yeah.
Maybe even chuck the Rock in there for good measure. Ah.
Yeah. And I only recently played that at UKGE. That'd be quite... Would you go full live or would you go animated for that?
I would go... I think I'd go...
Because it's animated style, isn't it? Like comic book sort of style, isn't it?
See, because I'm not a big fan of anime as much. I would like to just kind of give me... Pacific Rim, I want to kind of say.
Yeah.
Like the monsters, that kaiju kind of feel.
Nice. Yeah. Nice.
Godzilla style.
Yeah.
And I don't either... Yeah, basically just straight up. I'm not going in there for a plot.
Yeah. I'm going to see people fuck shit up and stuff. Or monsters fuck you up, yeah.
Absolutely.
Good shout, so.
And there was another one, is it X-Scope? The straight up alien invasion app game. That was a full blown. Yeah, there's another one that was like that. I can't remember what it's called, but it so much real time alien invasion. It looked really cool.
Nice.
Wayne, do you have any honourable mentions, sir?
You mentioned a couple of them already, actually. So Unfathomable was certainly one of them.
Nice.
Because I think that was such an excellent game and has such great potential. Project Elite I was kind of thought about, but again I was like I tried to try and be original, even though I'm not probably being very original at all, but I try to be try to do like a certain type of concept, at least in my brain. There's some stuff that I also disregarded. I talked about TI4, and the other one, which is kind of coming, which is 40k, because I'd really like to see a proper movie on the Warhammer 40,000 universe.
Fucking hell, that'd be mind-blowingly epic, wouldn't it, if they did that? Yeah.
So, and they are doing something right with Henry Cavill. Right. Amazon, they've signed a series and a movie. I think they're doing. So it's kind of in progress now. Yeah. So, but that would have been one that I would have said if that wasn't
nice. If it wasn't already happening,
kind of going to be happening. Mm-hmm. So I'm keen to see what it's going to be like. I don't think anyone could ever be happy because that's what fans are like. But the actual lore is like 30 years deep, and there is so much you could dip into in that whole universe. That would be amazing. Yeah, everything from the Horus Heresy all the way up to the Indomitus Crusade, which is up to date, and then you've got all of like the Eisenhorn stuff, like the Inquisitors, which are basically like super fucking mega spies with unlimited power and authority to like just nuke planets on because that's what they want to do, like exterminatus. And then you've got the Space Marines, who are like fucking unkillable space warriors who are kind of a little bit fascist. And then you've got the Tyranids, which are like giant, horrible space creatures, and it's just, and they're like almost unkillable. Like everything has gone to shit in this universe.
Damn.
And it would be amazing. It coined the term grimdark, so it would be a dark space epic of violent proportions.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That could be, but that, I hope it's something like that. But that's, it wasn't on my list, but was one I wanted to mention.
Nice. Yep. I've only got a couple myself, so I was going to put Hero Quest in, but then again, it's too close to Dungeons and Dragons, so it's like no point on there. What was going to go on my list was Scythe, but that was the point of like...
that was one I should have put on my list.
Yeah, but then I didn't know how would I make a movie of this? I mean, obviously it's about big war and stuff, but...
Yes.
I think it's too big to make it a film. It probably would have to be a 2 or 3 part or something, wouldn't it? Surely.
Off my list, and I'm not entirely sure why I took it off in the end, but it is an amazing idea, like an alternative history World War I, World War II era, I think.
Steampunk stuff.
Yeah, like alternative with like giant mechs, but it's also very agricultural.
Yeah,
and that's
not
very
what it looks like. Yeah.
No, right, but you also have like the whole thing with Nikola Tesla, and he's inventing mad shit. And then you want to get some of that tech. It's very, very fascinating.
Yeah.
And then with the new Expeditions game as well, there's more in that universe and more approaches on Jakob's, I can't remember his last name, but the designers, like the art designers' work, because it's the art and theme of that universe, which is what's a great potential for a movie there. So, but I don't know how it would be done.
To be a grand scale, wouldn't it, for that type of movie, wouldn't it?
Grand, dramatic, very serious, I'm thinking.
But also sort of beautiful to look at the same time as well, isn't
exactly.
it? Yeah,
beautiful visuals.
It'd be a very kind of like a slow sort of pacey film, wouldn't it? It'd be very shot.
Long, beautiful
long
shots. Well, I agree. Like a slow, deliberate pace, kind of sad. Right, probably. I think it would be very good, I think.
Yeah. A couple of horror ones. So I picked Horrified. Was an honorable mention.
Yeah.
And Fury Dracula. I kind of like the idea of the whole hunting aspect of it.
I nearly put it on.
But then I also like the whole, like I said, with Horrified, how you've got these guys who are trying to take down certain creatures from the Universal monster phase. I love that sort of era, so I kind of put that on there. One of yours, Chris, was Shadows of Camelot. I thought we'd be quite interesting.
Yeah, I was about to say that would be a really kind of cool.
And last one was Betrayal on Hill House.
Nice. House of the Hill.
Yes, but I wasn't too sure if it would be more of a movie or more technically a TV series because there's always different stories in the ending. So it'd probably be better as a TV series. But just as an honorable mention, I thought.
Because I just added King of Tokyo, but I forgot to one which was my number 6, which is one of your games, Wayne, which was Forbidden Desert.
Yeah, Forbidden Desert would be quite fun.
Basically, you think Flight of the Phoenix, but spaceship crash on a desert, like space, and it's just baking hot. You drought. Yeah, I think it would make a really kind of good survival sort of movie.
Yeah, trying to find the different
space,
parts of your
but even though it'd just be set in the desert.
Yeah, that'd be good.
But Shadows over Camelot,
that's a good.
Would be so good.
I'm missing a knight or some sort. Again, send me on quests.
Send me on quests and find out who the guy is. Who's the traitor?
Yeah,
be such a great movie.
The Black Knight. Yeah.
But guys, we've made it to the end. Thank you so much for doing this. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for coming back on for season 7. Let's have you back for more, please, if you can.
Absolutely. Always love to be here. And hopefully this has inspired some people to try out some of these games.
Yes, absolutely.
So please do go
15 generic, great picks there we've all gone for, isn't it? So,
most importantly, they are all good games.
Yes, exactly. So we'll leave it there, guys. If you like what you listen to, follow us on Facebook at M.T.V.B Podcast, or on Instagram at M.T.V.B Podcast, or on TikTok on M.T.V.B Podcast 197. I'm your host, Anthony, followed by...
I'm Wayne from Wall Stupid.
And Chris.
From...
Around.
Guys, thank you again for coming on, and please give Board Stupid a listen. If you like this episode about board games, go follow them. They know their shit big time. Thank you for listening. Good night, guys.